This is a dream come true. I get an email with this list of demands that they want. They said I owed them $40,000. This is a side of the music industry that, a lot of people don't get to see. You're in that, riding that high, you expect it to kind of be all roses and daisies when you get to the end of that finish mark, but that's not life. I'm Louis Knight, and this is what has happened since American Idol. I just graduated high school and I had released my EP, gigging around the East Coast, and American Idol reached out to me on Instagram. I ended up going into the audition room, and it's a production. So it's just like you're walking on set, and then I sat behind the piano and they asked me what I was gonna sing, and I told them that I was gonna sing a song that I had written called Change, which was about going through the loss of one of my brother and I's best friends to suicide. Luke Bryan was like, I think you're the biggest star we've ever had on American Idol.
I think he might be the biggest star we've ever had on American Idol.
Wow.
That was where it really got out of body. I got the golden ticket, which was amazing. The next round is Hollywood Week. You meet people, you're all going through this crazy roller coaster together, and then day by day, the number and amount of those people lessons and lessons and lessons, and so it can be very isolating. And I had a duet with Francisco Martin, and we had over-rehearsed so much and had gone to bed at 4 a.m. the night before. We ended up forgetting all the words on stage. I don't know why, but the judges thought that it was just him that had forgotten the words, but it was me too completely. Like I said, you got his heart in my heart and none of the brain. You took your suitcase and I took I literally just made up the line that I sang. Somehow they let us through and they said, no, you guys are both going. That next morning, I don't know if it's because of that, what happened and the stress I was under. I woke up that morning with my body just started shaking uncontrollably. And I threw my suitcase on the bed and I just started throwing all my shit inside the suitcase. I called my mum and told her, I need to leave the show. I need to leave, I can't do this. One of the contestant managers, he showed up to my door. I thought I couldn't do it, and they all just kind of slowly convinced me to just not to perform that day, but just to get to the venue. Like if I had chosen to walk away from the show that day, I don't know if we'd even be sitting down here having, doing this, having this conversation. Fast forward to the live shows, we were in LA rehearsing. State by state starts shutting down because of COVID. The show sends us all home. Somehow the show managed to find a way to keep going through COVID. They sent us lighting equipment, stuff for set design, working out camera angles over Zoom. It was insane, it was madness. My season ended in May of 2020. I was lucky enough to be a top 7 finalist. It was definitely tough finishing out the season in COVID. I'm really grateful that they were able to find a way to carry out the season. So you're on national television every single week. Your city knows who you are. Your Instagram is blowing up. You get verified. You're having celebrities DM you. And then all of a sudden, it stops. You've been on such a roller coaster for the last year of your life, the highest highs you've ever experienced and the lowest possible lows. Like in Hawaii, when Katie was talking to me for 5 minutes, making me think that I was getting sent home, and then all of a sudden she turned it back around and was like, "You'll go, we need you the next round," and I was like,
"You go home, you figure out what you have to do to win this competition because I got a bet on you."
We
got a bet on you.
Thank you.
And we want you to succeed. We see it in you, see it in yourself. Louis, you're going to the
That's what I'm talking about.
level.
You just took me I thought this was over and now I'm up here, and you're in that, riding that high. You expect it to kind of be all roses and daisies when you get to the end of that finish mark, but that's not life. Coming off the show into the pandemic was difficult. A big part of my life has been mental health. It started with American Idol with me telling the story about Russell and giving that awareness. And then, you know, post-Idol, I was kind of dealing with my own mental health issues, and it was so important for me to spread that awareness and like bring that light to the stigmas of mental health. But then I felt very boxed in by it a little bit at times. So it kind of was a double-edged sword. I guess I didn't realize how much I was going to have to retell it. To constantly be talking about it, it's like reliving that. Like, I wanted to tell his story and like try to bring awareness to it. I had like thousands of people messaging me who had seen the show, who had seen my audition, message me on Instagram, you know, saying they were struggling and saying that, like, you know, trying to talk to me about their mental health and that they were suicidal and that they had lost a loved one to suicide. And it was very overwhelming. And I'm so grateful that those people felt like they could, you know, reach out to me and that they heard my story and it, you know, it helped them in any type of way. Please, you know, please go and talk to like a mental health specialist. I'm not qualified to talk about this. You know, right after the show, we did Idol from home, and someone on my team at the time, they lived at my house pretty much for the 6 weeks that we were doing Idol live from home. I felt like I was belittled a lot, that I was wrong whenever I would have a question about something they were doing. I think it was just, we were all going through a lot. There was one specific occurrence where I wasn't talking to my parents at the time and I needed money for a campaign for my song Save a Little Love. He knew I wasn't talking to my parents at the time. They offered me a sum of money for a percentage of my business. At first I was like, oh, what do I do? Do I take it? This is probably a good deal, you know, I want to be in business with them for life. I finally called my parents and they talked me out of it. I told my team member, no, I don't think it's the right thing for me. And then they came back and said, right, that's the right answer. This was just a lesson that I was trying to teach you about the music industry. Like, I couldn't see in the moment just how incredibly inappropriate that was and kind of psychologically manipulative. Like, when they knew I was in a position with my parents where I wasn't talking to them, and a lot of people in my life thought, when I later told them about what had happened, that was just an excuse, that was just a lie, that they actually would have gone through with it if I had said yes. Everyone in my life started saying, we don't know if this is the right thing for you. And I was in such denial. I was like, you don't know what you're talking about. Slowly, every person in my life started saying the same thing. So I came to LA for a week and stayed with my buddy Francisco, was around him in the industry out here. And I was like, wow, this is not what I'm living in Philly. You know, not to say that I'm not incredibly grateful for my team. You know, they helped me through American Idol. They helped me through so many things in my life. That's why it was so hard for me to be able to finally realize that this wasn't working out as a business relationship between us anymore. About a month before I left for the comeback show, I sent an email with, you know, some of my concerns. They just went completely cold. I ended up having a conversation with the one member of my team. He basically ended up saying to me, you know, we'll walk away with nothing. We won't option your sunset clause. If I felt like I needed to, you know, leave them and to move forward without them, that they would walk away with nothing. You know, I was putting out some music that, like, you know, with the money that I had, you know, got from the show. And one day I get an email. They wanted to do a comeback episode with 10 of the top 20 from my season. I found out that they said that I can perform my latest single at the time, which was called Maybe That. And this is just like another once in a lifetime opportunity where there's no way in a million years I could have ever said no to that. I mean, it really was a blessing, and I'm so grateful that they gave me that opportunity yet again. Then it came to the day that I was supposed to leave for the comeback show for American Idol. I get an email with this list of demands that they want. They said I owed them $40,000. It was just the most ludicrous things. This is a side of the music industry that, you know, a lot of people don't get to see. And as a 20-year-old, it was a lot to experience. I was never a good student. I was always that, you know, that super ADHD, talks too much, distracts himself and others in class, like class clown type. And yeah, thank goodness I can write a song, because I don't know what I would be doing if it weren't for that. You know, I'm so fortunate. After Idol, I kind of lost my relationship with songwriting. And so I guess I lost that talent too. So thank you for being here. Thanks for watching. This has been my career unfolding, and now it's over. Have a good one, guys. I love you. JK, I'm back. In all seriousness, I definitely did struggle quite a lot with my relationship with songwriting. You know, it's been such a helpful thing. It's been how I process things in my life, and it was just with everything going on with you know, all the drama with my prior team and the ups and downs of American Idol, the ups and downs of the pandemic. I felt like every time I sat down to write something, it had to be this same massive emotional release that Change was. And then it kind of set that bar for me. And you know, it was my most successful song so far. You know, Change was something I tried to write so many times to get that story out. And I was just setting myself up for failure. You know, I ended up hating everything I wrote because I didn't think it was good enough. I didn't write for months at a time. It's the perseverance through the low moments in our life that are the most defining. I'm going to go through highs and lows, and I'm going to go through highs and lows with my relationship to songwriting. You know, sometimes it's going to be so deep, and sometimes, you know, I'm going to write happier songs, and sometimes they don't need to be as personal to me. And just the art of actually songwriting, no matter what it is okay. Songwriting is all I know how to do. I'm like awkwardly looking at the camera. Songwriting is all I know how to do, and I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. I will find a way, any way, to make that happen. I'm so happy that I went through everything that, you know, I've just talked about, because I'm here now, I'm back, I'm releasing new music, I'm telling the story of this whole process and all the absolute crazy highs and lows of it all. I've redefined my relationship with songwriting. You know, I'm back in that place where I absolutely just love it, and I'm grateful to be doing it, and I'm just, you know, telling stories, and that's just what it is. It's as simple as that. There is so much to come. I am with a new team, and I'm so hopeful for the future, and I moved out to LA, putting out lots of new music, which talks about the highs and lows of the last, you know, 2 years of my life. There's so much opportunity and hope for what the future has in store. Please like and subscribe to my ASMR channel. In all seriousness, thank you for being here. This is the next chapter of my life and my career. Thanks for listening to this story, and yeah, let's fucking do it.